Hi guys, Wishy Bee here. I wanted to just share something that I found just kind of weird the other night. I came home from being out and it was really late at night and really dark. And I noticed that there was a weird light source coming from off in the distance, like as if there was like a sun coming up or going down. And I'm going to show you a little bit of footage of it. But just before you go there, there is no town back there or anything where there is normally light coming from, like a city or something. We're really out in the middle of nowhere. And, you know, as you can hear, I don't know if you can actually, with my camera doesn't pick up very good sound, but there's coyotes in the background because we have a ton of coyotes and wolves and stuff out here. That's how far out, kind of in the middle of the boonies we are. And you can see this line that, you know, you would think it looks kind of like there's mountains off in the distance and that there's a light coming up over these mountains, but there's no mountains there. There's just this dark, weird band of clouds, like a perfect straight rectangle section of dark clouds, and then there's this weird light coming up from behind it. I don't know, I just thought it was kind of strange, and I thought I'd share it, especially in case anyone else has been finding stuff like this, because I know that there's a lot of other footage out there of people saying that the sun goes down and they watch it go down, then like hours later, it's like the sun is going down again. And just, I don't know if it's related, but that same day when I was out, we noticed that the moon was super bright and clear in the middle of the day, which is another thing that I'm just finding odd, because I don't remember, I'm an old lady, okay, I don't remember ever seeing the moon out during the day growing up. And this is just something that has been happening lately, and people tend to just think that, you know, they might think it's weird for a minute, and then they go right to the, well, I guess I must have just never noticed this before. Just the same as the chemtrail lines that people think, oh, well, that's always been there. No, it's not. Okay, the clouds have never been these rows of perfect lines that all just join together into one big sheet. All right, take it from someone who's an older, take it from your elder. Okay, these things were not around. And I remember my dad was a pilot, and I remember him telling me years and years ago about how there was planes really high up in the atmosphere that were going, and you could see a bit of like a chemtrail type of thing behind them. And I remember him being annoyed that they were up there doing that, because the reason why they told them they were doing that when he went through pilot training school, they don't have a need for that anymore. So I remember him questioning that back then, but then lately, you know, when I bring up the actual chemtrail stuff, he's like, I don't remember that conversation, and I don't, you know, I don't know what you're talking about with the chemtrails thing. And I don't know if other people are noticing this, but I notice family members that are not saved, they don't remember things that, you know, I remember very clearly from childhood. They remember things very differently. And I don't know if that's just all part of the spiritual blindness thing or not. But I find this very interesting. Even stuff that, you know, will be proof, like on video and stuff, things that we did or whatever. I just noticed that people don't remember stuff the same. And most of the time it's things that have changed that are weird now, that they just tell themselves oh, well, surely this must have always been like this. Like, for example, the sundog thing. I had never in my life seen a sundog before, and now they're all the time. And when I had asked someone about this that isn't a Christian, that tends to kind of go along with whatever the mainstream news people tell them and believe whatever, I asked them about what their explanation was for this, and they're like, oh yeah, it's they're caused by, they're always in the winter. It's always when it's really super cold out that you see these. And so I remember going to them with pictures on my phone, like, okay, well, this is midsummer. It's really hot out. Here's a picture of a sundog that I just took. What say ye? And they just had no, they had no idea what to say to that. But the same with those, those pillar lights. That's another thing that they claim. Those pillar lights happen only when it's really, really cold out. Then how come you see these pictures coming out of, the tropical areas of the Philippines when it's really hot and muggy? So how do you explain that? If your scientific explanation is like ice crystals, that it's really cold out and that's when you see these form. It's like they just make crap up as they go along to explain their stuff. And it doesn't matter when you come up with something that clearly proves that their explanation, it falls apart when you change the temperature or what have you. They just, generally, when you're dealing with people, especially in the scientific community, I find that if you are trying to question something that mainstream science tries to use to explain away other things that are supernatural, if they can't explain, they're just repeating what they've heard from college professors and what have you. And so when you actually come up with something that you show them that they've never seen before, that as proof to the alternative, it breaks their circuits. They don't know how to respond to that, and it always ends up in just insults and name calling. That's what they always resort to. That's just kind of what I've noticed. I don't know about other people, but that's been my experience with people that are of the left persuasion. Let's just put it that way. So anyway, I'm going to show you this video. Maybe I'm blowing this out of proportion, but I just thought it was kind of weird because it's pitch black dark out here at night. Because we're way away from any city lights or town lights. It's really dark out here. So we tend to be able to also see the stars really well out here, unless they're covered with, chemtrails. So when all of a sudden it looks like there's a sun coming up or going down, we tend to notice. And so anyway, it's also not as clear on my crappy phone camera as it really was. But this was the best I could come up with what I have right now. So anyway, I'll leave you with that. And until next time, guys, I'll be seeing ya. Bye-bye. Hey, do you see how dark it is? How dark it is out here? This is what it should look like. Hang on a second. Look at out my backyard. Do you see how bright, this weird bright light? And do you see that line? That's not like hills. That's just like this weird, dark bunch of chemtrails or something. And then there's a weird light source coming from behind it. It's not coming out as well on my camera as it really is. It is really bright. I don't know what that is. What that light would be coming from. Isn't that so weird? It's night. It's really dark. See, this is what the sky is. But look down here. What is the light source coming from? Hear the coyotes back there. There's a lot of coyotes out here. I don't know if that's picking up on my camera, but it's coyotes barking out here. Anyway, I just thought I would show you that because that was weird.